Doc and the Clippers parted ways, and reports came out about chemistry problems in Los Angeles. It was tough for Doc to piece this all together when you brought in Kyrie, playoff P, and then with the roster that overachieved the year before. And you had a championship caliber roster here. And this is going to be challenging. I look at the 76ers as a younger Clippers team as far as do all the pieces fit? Chemistry problems, because it's reported that Embiid and Ben Simmons do not get along. That will be difficult. You're trying to get a head start when you take over a team like this. You're already going to be working a little bit harder than you need to. Doc has singled out Ben Simmons as being one of those transformational type players, as being a great player or the potential to be a great player. He's got credentials. He's been good before with star players. I mean, I go back to Tracy McGrady and Grant Hill working together. He did it in Boston with those personalities. And with the Clippers, he was able to get them DeAndre Jordan, Blake Griffin, and Chris Paul to play together, I think, for the most part. They just didn't succeed. But he couldn't, on a short, in a tight window, get all of this to work in the bubble there. And it's a tricky situation that he's walked into. But I was surprised that Doc took this, and maybe just the enticement of, I've got two players who could turn out to be Hall of Famers, but I just don't know if they work together. And then there was talk that Mike D'Antoni was the second choice here. I don't understand D'Antoni if he was there with the 76ers, because I got Ben Simmons, and while he is interesting and a matchup nightmare, I just don't think he's the guy that I can trust at the end of games. He can't shoot. Joel Embiid could be interesting in a D'Antoni offense. But, understand this, or I'll remind you of this. Mike D'Antoni hasn't won anything. I mean, they're really interesting regular season teams. That Phoenix Suns team that lost to the Spurs when Steve Nash got knocked into the scorers table, and you had a couple players, including Amari Stoudemire, getting suspended. That team, was good enough to win a title. But Mike is, he's an offensive-minded guy, and they're fun to watch. But he doesn't win. And that would be my big concern. I'm going to bring him into Philadelphia, and now, you're going to trade Embiid? You want to bring in James Harden? There's too many pieces here. I don't need that. And Doc's going to come in and try to make the best of this. You got Al Horford making $100 million. Now, he did have Tobias Harris with the Clippers and brought out the best in Tobias Harris. But going into that situation, it just feels like you're going to have chemistry issues again.